Hey there, folks, and welcome to this week's episode of Jungle Drums. I am joined by my good friends Gim Boyd and Sergeant J.
Hello.
Hello.
Not everyone at once now. So we're, the usual. We're going to talk about the latest and greatest tech and gaming news as we do. So to kick things off, we're going to talk about a little bit of tech. Now, obviously, we had been looking at the Ryzens and all that quite a bit last year, right? I mean, we were really excited about all these new processors that were coming out. And quite a while back, we talked about the second generation of Ryzens that was going to be coming up that use the Zen Plus architecture. These are not to be confused with the Zen 2s. Those are later down the line. But anyway, these are the second generation of Ryzen processors. So I was searching around the internet and I saw a nice little review of them over on hothardware.com. And so the model numbers are the 2700X and the 2600X. And the headline they've got there is that these second gen Ryzen chips are delivering more performance per dollar. Basically these CPUs are based on a refined update to the Zen architecture called Zen Plus. They've got higher clocks, lower latencies, and they have what they're claiming to be a more intelligent precision boost to algorithm that improves responsiveness, performance, and also power efficiency. So from the numbers I've been seeing, I think they're saying they're about 16% more efficient and like 11% more. Well, they perform 11% better in some regards, but I think as far as the clocks and whatnot, I think you're only seeing about a 3% gain. But they're looking pretty sweet. I mean, the 2700X is an 8-core, 16-thread processor that has a base clock of 3.7 gigs, boosts up to 4.3, a nice healthy 20 megabytes of cache on the smart prefetch cache, as they're calling it, and the 2700X and the 2700 both come with an LED cooler that's been included, a Wraith Prism on the X model, a Wraith Spire on the on the non-X model. And so I've actually got a screenshot here. Looking at Amazon, these processors over here in the UK, they're coming in at £322. Which is reasonable, and the air cooler that it's got on it looks pretty decent. It's got a nice little kind of LED ring on it. RGB, of course, is the name of the game these days, but they're looking pretty good. Of course, they also have the Ryzen 5 second gens, the 2600X and the 2600. Those are 6-core, 12-thread processors. I'm not sure what price those are coming in at, actually. Let me have a quick look. 2600X. So a 2600X with the Wraith Spire cooler is coming in at £211. So that's pretty good for what you're getting. To get a 12-core, 12-threaded processor with a Wraith Spire cooler on it, that's not bad at all. But all the reviews I'm seeing and whatnot kind of are pointing at that these are a good upgrade. Not so much if you've already got a top-of-the-line Ryzen processor, or likewise if you're on the latest generation, or even maybe the last generation of the Intel i7s. But for the rest of us that are maybe on older hardware, the new Zen Plus architecture of these second-gen Ryzens are looking pretty darn good. I know, Jay, you're still, thinking over and over about, maybe trying to build an upgraded PC in the near future. Are you still leaning towards the Ryzen chips as opposed to the Intel?
I haven't really thought about it much, to be honest. It is always something that I'm tempted to see how will it perform building one, and I expect when I come to do it, there will be a lot of price comparisons to power and to almost ratio what I expect, because I don't think it will be a flat I'll go buy a bunch of Intel stuff or a bunch of NVIDIA stuff. I expect I'll have a proper look at it. I'll whip out an Excel spreadsheet and make something or something.
No, hey, I'm the exact same way. I mean, when I upgraded mine, I was toying with so many different ideas of where to go. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, that top of the line Ryzen 7 2700X, I mean, that's kind of in the same price range as the Intel equivalents. Of course, the thing being, I say equivalent, I mean, the Ryzen 7 actually has more cores and more threads. But when you look at the Ryzen 5, you know, which is a 6-core 12-thread, I mean, that's almost half. I think it is half the price of an i7, which has the same 6-core 12 threads. So it's definitely more bang for your buck with the Ryzen processors. So they look pretty cool. Not bad. Because I mean, I really have my eyes on the Ryzen 7. It'd be really nice to have those extra cores when it comes to, like, you know, video editing and rendering.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It'd be super handy, but then at the same time, it'd be, you know, it's kind of a fantasy to try to get something like a Threadripper. That's way out of my price league.
Yes. Yeah. That's bold. It's bold want, that is.
You know, but I mean, even that, I mean, a Ryzen 7 is still quite expensive. You know, when you're looking at just one component, you know, being 300 quid, never mind the motherboard to go with it, never mind the DDR4 memory.
Yeah, it all starts looking nice, doesn't it? And cheap, and then you're signing everything up, and you're like, well.
Yeah. That's why it's best just to save, buy one thing at a time.
Yep.
You know, decide on a motherboard, get it, or get the case, then buy your motherboard. You can put your beautiful motherboard in the case, then maybe get your processor, install that, and just, you know, slowly over time.
Yeah, I expect for people like us, it's not too bad. We've already got a PC that we can use. But I suppose if you want to build one, that's a long haul game, that is. So.
Yeah. And as we've talked about previously, at the moment, the way the prices are, it does suck if you're trying to build your own. It definitely does.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really help with all the mining, does it? That's been going on recently, especially the graphic cards, because they did take a hike at one point. I don't know if they've sort of...
The graphics cards are still in crazy territory, G. Same with memory, hard drives, allegedly power supplies as well. I'd seen something the other day talking about how, you know, there's been a bit of a power supply shortage, which I didn't realize there was, but oh well.
I'm wondering again if this is all just relates to the fact that people are building these massive farms and everything, and mining and whatnot, they need more power output.
It certainly looks that way.
It's not good. Well, it was never good when it came out of the industry anyway. It was always going to be, okay, still stuff like this happened, and price hikes and what. No, pardon me, sorry. So, you know.
Indeed. Right, so from tech onto gaming, of course, you know, this is if you already have a gaming PC. So I found this over at PCGamer.com, and this was to do with Battlefield. And Battlefield Studio DICE is reportedly working on a Battle Royale mode project. And I love the little subtitle here, because of course they are. Basically, the article goes on to say, that DICE is reportedly working on a Battle Royale project, specifically a Battle Royale mode for this year's Battlefield 5. Now, this started out as a rumor, that allegedly someone with knowledge of the studio, who is asked to remain anonymous, stated that the studio is currently testing its take on the Battle Royale mode. It's unclear whether it will launch with Battlefield 5 or possibly come later, or even be abandoned. The fact that Battlefield 5 is coming this year is no secret. We know that's happening, and it looks most likely that the game is going to take place during World War II, which makes sense because, Battlefield 1 took part, was set in World War I. But one of the most interesting things about the new Battlefield is the game's going to have co-op play for randomly generated missions. So that's pretty neat. The new Battlefield might be pretty badass. I mean, you've got Battlefield 1, don't you, Jay?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you enjoyed it, didn't you?
Expansions. Yeah, I've to be fair though, I've loved most of the Battlefield games. I didn't really play sort of the newer ones that like Hardline and whatnot, but I've been playing since 1942.
Hardline was terrible.
On Battlefield, so I'm a big fan of the series.
As a concept, like I remember seeing the announcement for it and thinking, "Ooh, that's really quite cool looking." Like I like the idea of it, but
they had to do it right though. But it was just a rehash of 4's crap, and they just sold it as a whole new game. And typical EA bullshit, basically.
Yeah, it was a shame. But this kind of makes sense that Battle Royale, even so, Battle Royale mode has been around for quite a long time. It's really only been the last couple of years that it's really starting to pick up, obviously with PUBG and Fortnite Battle Royale. So I suppose it shouldn't really come as a shock that the Battlefield studio is working on something like that. Because we already know that Call of Duty has ditched their single-player component from the next Call of Duty game. Instead, they're going to have a Battle Royale mode. And then there's even talk that, the folk that are working on Division... Well, not the same folk that are working on the Division 2, but that studio, Massive, is also working on a Battle Royale title. Which, we kind of... I guess survival... it's probably not fair to call survival a Battle Royale mode, but it kind of is, right?
It's close. It's close. Yeah.
It just seems Battle Royale's the buzzword at the moment. BR is... everyone's trying to hop on that bandwagon.
Do you think a lot of that, though, is from the aspect, as you say, it's been around for quite a long time, but, I suppose back when it was a bigger thing as such, or when it first came out, there was never things like these streaming platforms. Because, to be fair, it's quite an entertaining thing to watch as well, to be honest, just because of the whole entire aspect of it all. I personally think...
Yeah, I like to watch it. I don't like to play it. But yeah, I really enjoy watching folk play BRs.
And I think this is probably half the reason why, as you say, it's become much bigger now and is the current buzzword, because it's just been able to get so much more exposure now, and you've got a lot of big people playing it as such.
I think the exposure is the key aspect of this that you've hit on there, because now, to put this in a perspective, Lyric, who is, regarded as one of the biggest streamers on Twitch. I know that Ninja has more followers this and this, but come on, Lyric's kind of an established name on the platform of Twitch, and he had played BR games years ago, right? It was one of those things he did here and there every so often. But I think where the real exposures came from has been when PUBG had started this whole partnership thing, where they were basically paying or giving streamers kickbacks for playing PUBG. It was the equivalent of doing sponsored streams. Sponsored streams are nothing new. They've been around for ages. But by becoming a PUBG partner, it was, it made this weird situation that had never been done before. You hear about people trying to get partnership on a platform or getting sponsored by a hardware company, but to actually become a partner of a specific game, I think that is what has really pushed PUBG. And then with Fortnite Battle Royale, love it or hate it, the biggest thing it has going for it is that it's free, and folk just will try it, and then arguably a lot of people do think that it is better in the long in the grand scheme of things, or
has more to it and has an interesting art style rather than just sort of drab military shooter look.
Aye, Arma 3 just a little bit. I want to say more refined, but I don't think that's fair to say about PUBG.
Less refined. Yeah.
A regression from Arma 3.
Yeah.
Oh my. But yeah, no, Battle Royale is definitely the current.
Battle Royale is flavor of the month for the video game industry. Is how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before Battle Royale, it was hero shooters, Overwatch. Before that, it's League of Legends, MOBAs. Go back even further, World of Warcraft, make MMOs.
Gim, you bring that up. MOBAs. In the last couple of years, how many attempted MOBAs has there been that have just failed miserably?
So many.
There's been a lot.
There's no, in my mind, there's no displacing Dota 2 and League of Legends. They're so...
Oh, there are others that make their have their niches as well. Smite will always do well.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Sorry,
it's a bit different. And then you also get Heroes of the Storm, because it's a bit different, being mostly on objective gameplay, and of course
Blizzard.
Yeah, exactly. Star's pretty gigantic. Didn't really hit off, because I thought that was a really good game.
It's not dead. It's still a good game, Gigantic. I like that as well. But
Pretty sure they shut the servers down, if I'm correct, or they were looking at it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, remember we talked about that.
Yeah,
on
I'm pretty sure.
I thought they were still updating it.
No,
I've
I'm pretty
updated it
sure.
on my Xbox. I know that.
Yeah, no, in fact, I can't remember the episode number, but I remember the headline of the episode being R.I.P. Gigantic.
So, I expect we're going to see a lot more Battle Royale games coming out.
Yeah.
I don't think. And again, I think, to be honest with you, unless it's done well, I think we're going to have this whole entire thing again of almost, as you pointed out, with not in the niche market things, but like Dota and League being two main. I feel like that's what would happen with Fortnite and PUBG, to be honest with you, unless somebody can do a very good job with it.
Yeah, it would totally take like one of the big studios, like a really, really big player, so to speak, to just completely blow it out the water. And this
Maybe
is
Cliffy B will do it.
well, this is the thing. I mean, this is why I think it's interesting because, let's be honest. I mean, PUBG is just that guy Brendan Green or whatever out of nowhere. Fortnite, okay, that studio. I mean, Epic, they've got a lineage. They do have pedigree.
Oh yeah.
But compared to someone like EA and someone like Activision, right? I mean, if those two companies bring out their BR stuff, and no doubt they will throw a shit ton of money at marketing, I think it could possibly... I know what you're saying. I mean, PUBG and Fortnite BR are established, but when EA and friggin' Activision throw their hats into the mix, I think we could maybe see a change in dynamic if they're successful. I mean, because let's be honest, they can quite easily screw things up. I mean, Battlefront 2.
Exactly.
So
I think
Activision, Destiny 2.
Yeah. I feel it'll be quite interesting with the Battlefield one is how they play it, because obviously Fortnite doesn't have vehicles, that's a fact, but PUBG does, and that's really one of the big differences personally that I feel between them.
Yeah, and then the building aspect.
The building mechanic is
huge.
But I think the thing is though with Battlefield has always been known for not only its huge maps but also its vehicles. I mean, like, how do they put that in with this game? I mean, how would they put things like you can find a tank or a plane in a Battle Royale mode, and if so, how do they make that balanced and not too stupid? So yeah, I'm quite interested to see how it goes if they do it, to be fair, and what comes out of it.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. Oh, maybe Anthem will have a Battle Royale mode in it. Why not?
Anthem, what game is that again? Because I haven't heard anything about that in a long time.
I know they're keeping quiet.
The only thing I hear about Anthem is BioWare shedding writers.
Yeah, I don't
want to talk about that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we'll reserve judgment. I think we're gonna get.
I don't want to talk about BioWare losing writers.
I would assume we'll probably get some more details at E3 this year. Which isn't that far away if you think about it. Not next month, but the month after.
Yep. The month of my birthday.
So maybe we'll get some more footage. I'm pretty sure the last time I checked, I don't think it's on track to come out this year. I think they're still looking at next year.
If it was this year, it would be November, December, but I don't think they'll make that.
Because you remember when we talked about when it was announced and release times and whatnot, and we were wondering at the time, right, whether or not, it's going to be difficult for it, isn't it? Because Destiny 2 will have already been out, and Destiny 2 will have established itself, and Destiny 2 will have multiple DLCs. And it's just funny when you think about it, because do you remember that conversation? How we're talking about, it's going to be, it might be tricky for them.
We were so naive.
We were just so optimistic for Bungie.
We trusted you, Bungie.
Yeah.
Not this is the place to talk about it, because obviously it's not much to do with this, but the changes they're making for it actually look quite interesting. But that can be saved for another time.
They do. It's their first reveal stream's next week, right?
Too late.
Pardon?
I think their first reveal stream is next week.
Well, they just put the TWAB out this week of Bungie out early, because obviously they got the summit on tomorrow
That's right, the Summit. Yeah.
and Saturday. But some of the changes they made, like they look like they're making the leveling take a lot hard. Well, not a lot harder, but take a bit longer, be more of a grind again instead of it just being. But like I said, this isn't the time.
Okay.
We can potentially talk about this next week.
That sounds
Yeah.
like a good
And I'll
plan.
talk about it, especially with what comes out from the summit as well, because I expect that'll probably come out with what they plan on looking at doing, or somewhere along the line.
Yeah, will they actually listen to their community? Well, it was a
Yeah.
first time for everything, I suppose.
Going back to Battle Royales quickly, I mentioned Cliffy B earlier. He is working on a Battle Royale game. Radical Heights. And
Oh God, yeah, that name's
Yeah.
familiar.
and if you remember when Overwatch was around, he also was working on a hero shooter, wasn't he? Lawbreakers, which nobody plays.
Yeah, you know,
It's not looking good.
I thought it was a
Radical
shame
Heights.
that never really hit it off, because I got into the alpha for that and I downloaded it, and okay, admittedly it wasn't for me, because I guess I'm probably just too old and slow to play that type of thing nowadays, because it was so fast. It was amazingly fast, and graphically it was sweet. You know, it looked awesome. It ran super smooth on PC, but I don't understand why that didn't really do as well. It's a shame.
From what I hear, it was a combination of the tutorial basically not telling you how to use the movement system properly. So everyone was going, "This feels really slow and terrible." It's like, it's not that the game doesn't tell you how to do it properly,
That's
and its
fair.
characters are really sort of dull and generic.
Yeah.
Which is, if you're going to build a hero shooter, you need your heroes to be interesting.
Yeah, heroic.
Overwatch, loads of interesting characters there. There's a monkey with a lightning gun. I mean, the Lawbreakers had robot guy, other guy with rocket launcher, guy with gun. That was basically it.
Right, bit of tech news from Tech Radar. If you've been waiting for the Spring Creators Update for Windows 10, well, you've probably noticed it's not out yet. And so this article basically was saying why it has been delayed. And so they're working on a new update. Basically, the Spring Creators Update was going to be the next big overhaul of Windows 10. As we all know, the way things are working now with Windows, they don't plan on like coming out with a Windows 11. They're I mean, they might probably they might end up eating their words, but their whole concept was that no, Windows 10 was going to be their last OS. You know, unless architecture, you know, if we start getting quantum processors, then it'd have to completely change. But you know, the concept is Windows 10 will be the last OS, and instead they'll just do big things to it. You know, back in the day these were called service packs, but now they're called, you know, creators updates and whatnot. So anyway, we're kind of overdue for the Spring Creators Update, which was going to be quite a large deal. You know, it was going to be changing all sorts of things. It should have came out on April 10th. You know, Microsoft calls it the Spring Creators Update, but that's not its actual name. We don't know what its official name is yet. But anyway, besides all that, it got delayed because basically Microsoft has discovered some reliability issues. And when I say reliability issues, we're talking, you know, blue screens of death, good old BSODs. So that's kind of an issue. You know, if no one likes that, whenever that happens to your PC, that is a catastrophic failure, usually, you know, on the software side of things. It can be caused by hardware, but usually if you get a blue screen of death, it's something to do with the configuration of Windows, whether it's the registry, whether it's drivers. But according to this report, this update that was supposed to come out the other week was just, it was killing Windows. Windows was becoming unresponsive, you're getting a blue screen of death, yeah, it wasn't very, very good at all. So what they're doing is, you know, they're going to be releasing updates or fixes for it. Now, you can actually go and manually download this if you want to take that risk. Allegedly, there are some, if you're a Windows insider, you can get some of the preview builds and the updates that should fix it. But for the rest of us, look, just wait it out. It'll be fine. They'll fix it, hopefully, and there you go. So if you have been wondering what's been happening with the Spring Creators Update, that's why. Basically, it was killing PCs, not killing them, but causing them to freeze. Because I've been wondering too, aren't we like overdue for an Xbox update? I could have sworn that we should have had another console update by now or something, but
I'm not sure. I haven't had one, and I'm in the preview thing. So.
Yeah, I just thought it's been a while.
Soon there will be another one.
I might have had one and forgotten about it. I don't know.
Oh well. Back to gaming. Now this one, I was browsing through Polygon earlier, and this one stuck out at me because it's a game series or a franchise that I remember playing the original one on PC, and absolutely loved it. Just absolutely crazy and whatnot. But anyway, this is to do with Serious Sam. And so this article from Polygon is showing a new trailer of the next Serious Sam 4 Planet Badass. So if I just play this real quick, and you get a little idea here of the the graphics on it are looking great, which even back in the day, I mean, Serious Sam, the first one, was actually, the artwork and whatnot was pretty cool. But it's a pretty sweet trailer. It's got, the guy, Sam just riding this big hog. Look, there we go. Guy coming out.
Riding true and true.
And then an entire horde of them. Serious Sam 4 Planet Badass. So anyway, they came out with the trailer, and what the team, of course, which is Crow Team, and it's being published by Devolver Digital. And I know with me and Gim, Devolver Digital has a very special place in our hearts. Their stuff's just always kind of out there and pretty darn cool. Especially if you think about their E3 conference last year. What they did was just, it was
Follow their Twitter. It's great.
I mean, even that game that I'd really enjoyed last year on PC, Stories Untold. That was published by Devolver Digital and obviously done by McKellen Studios, my fellow Scott. But yeah, so anyway.
Most recent game they published is Minute. That's supposed to be really good.
Yep. Ruiner is another one that was
Ruiner's theirs, yep.
Pretty badass. Anyway, they're awesome. They make some good shit. And so basically, they've released this kind of teaser trailer that yes, a next iteration of Serious Sam is on the way, and at the very end of the trailer even says see you at E3 2018. So we don't have any kind of crazy details or anything. Crow Team, they're a pretty badass bunch of coders and whatnot. I mean, the stuff that they've been involved with over the years is pretty cool, and they've been Serious Sam, the original one was back in 2001. And they've done HD remakes. And then they also, a game that I really want, I haven't played yet, is that game they made called the Talos Principle. I remember seeing the previews for it, and it looked really, really awesome. It just looks like my kind of thing. Reminded me of the Turing Test. That same type of kind of strategy to it. Yeah, I enjoyed that. But no, so there you go. But the big thing about this new Serious Sam is they're saying it's on a brutally bigger scale. Now, if you've ever played any of the Serious Sams, you had absolutely hundreds of enemies coming at you. So the concept of having a Serious Sam on a brutally bigger scale is mind-blowing. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Either you guys play much of the old Serious Sams?
I actually didn't, to be honest. I don't really think I played them at all, to be quite frank.
I played quite a bit of the first two. They were really good.
Yeah, they were.
It's just
the thing is too, when it first came out, Jay, it might have been a bit before your time. if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because,
It
that's
probably was.
17
2001.
years ago.
I mean, I would have been, what, 8? So I was probably busy playing my old school CODs or something,
Yeah.
or not even, probably yeah.
You were
probably, yeah.
Come on, 8 years old. You were busy eating worms out in the garden.
To be fair, I was busy actually going out, unlike the youth these days. Shots fired.
It's out in the garden when I was 18.
What about
I don't know.
you, Kim? Wait, was it on PC or was it the PlayStation? Was it the PS2
I think
releases?
there was a version on GameCube, I think there was.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I had that version.
I'm trying to remember what. I think it might have been like one of the PC gaming magazines. I think way back then had came with a demo of it, of the first one, and I liked it. I thought it was cool, and then I ended up. I'm sure that I physically bought it. I'm sure that I did. Definitely bought the first one. I don't know. I can't remember if I revisited them or not. But yeah, Serious Sam's. They were just good old fun. Just mindless shooting crap. And they were quite funny as well, Jay. They were just kind of,
They were brought out on the 360 arcade store as well.
That's
Imagine
right.
that.
Yeah, they were.
Good fun.
No, they were pretty neat. Pretty cool. Well, going from pretty cool to something that is not cool, this was something that developed just the other day. And I saw in the Scholarly Gamers Discord, actually, there was quite a bit of chat about this. And so I got this from Polygon, and it was about Twitch being blocked in Russia right now. Basically, the entire country of Russia has been cracking down on Amazon as well as Google-owned IP addresses. Basically what happened was that the country's state communications regulator announced it was blocking specific IP addresses that were owned by Amazon and Google. Twitch was one of the companies hit by the block. And according to Reddit and Twitter, one Twitch affiliate streamer had basically put up an update, saying that, hey, all of these IP gates, all these IPs had been completely banned. So he himself, he couldn't stream initially. He had to use a VPN as well as Tor in order to be able to type into Twitch, Twitch chat. So he, at the moment, he doesn't even know how the hell he's supposed to stream. He is a full-time streamer. And anytime he tries to connect to Twitch, it just comes up with network error. And, there's quite a few other streamers as well as organizations in Russia who rely on Twitch, like Team Empire. And so it's quite, like when you first hear that, you think, whoa, what in the hell, what's going on? Why are they, kind of acting out at Twitch? And it seems like Twitch is basically collateral damage, because what happened is that Russia was trying to block citizens from using Telegram. Telegram is an encrypted messaging service. And so there's this Russian watchdog group that's basically grown uneasy with the encrypted tool, claiming that people are using the service for, things like crime, terrorism, all that, all the bad stuff. Because there tends to be this thinking, especially in law enforcement, that just your average normal person, what do you need encrypted communications for? All communications are encrypted in some way, but we're talking about taking that encryption to the next level. And so basically it was making them feel quite uneasy over there, and they tried to shut it down because the company that owns Telegram had refused to comply with a court order. The court order was basically asking for state security services to have access to its users' encrypted messages. Which is kind of reminiscent when you think of, what was it, the FBI a while back when they wanted Apple to unlock a suspect's phone or something, and so they could get access to it. But anyway, so Telegram's CEO, the chief executive officer, had basically reached out and was thanking, companies like Apple, Google, and Amazon on his personal Telegram channel for not taking part in political censorship. So because of that association with Google and Amazon, the Russian government said, oh, you know what? Okay, fine. Boom. we're going to just block these Amazon-owned IP addresses. And so it's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a shame. And I wonder if, Twitch... I don't know what the percentage of viewers are from Russia. I mean, Russia has a decently sized population. There's a lot of streamers over there. There's a lot of certain game types that the audience is predominantly Russian. When I think of games like World of Tanks, anyone that's played World of Tanks, no doubt you have been in a game where you've heard someone speak in Russian. Things like Counter-Strike as well. There's a lot of games that are quite popular over in that part of the world, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects Twitch, as well as just business for Amazon as well. I wonder. But yeah, it's just kind of a shame. Bit of a sucks for viewers over there. Never mind, as well as actual streamers who are possibly trying to make a living, and now all of a sudden they can't. But I would assume using some kind of tunneling software, VPN type stuff, they'll be able to probably figure something out. There's always ways around these things. So there is, but it doesn't really affect us, does it? Because none of us are in Russia, are we, guys?
No.
Over here. Right, back to the gaming world, and just today, dropped the latest update from Monster Hunter World, which is a game that I absolutely love, has a very special spot in my heart. It's a game that I'm still playing, maybe not ridiculous amount of time spent on it these days, but I'm still logging in at least every day to get my login bonus, do a couple of things, and then kind of continue on. But what happened this week, though, was the big update. Monster Hunter World has been brought to version 3.0. So I grabbed this article from gamingbolt.com. And it's added some nice little quality of life improvements as well. Investigation sorting, the ability to change, what was it again? Your HUD, the messages and stuff, the pop-ups, subtitle text size.
Yeah, so you can basically adjust text size so you can actually see it if you're on a big screen and far away.
Yeah,
which is helpful.
Because that's what I noticed. Like, I'm so used to now, I play it here, in the office where I'm on a PC screen, because whenever I go through the living room, even so the telly in the living room is huge, I just find the HUD and the map in the corner just too small. It's no good, so it'll be nice to see those little quality of life features. The update was about 1.2 gigabytes, but the big thing is, of course, this new limited time siege quest, where basically players are up against the new Elder Dragon, Call of Taroth, and it's got a new location for that. There's new gear sets, new weapons to earn. The stuff looks fantastic. The whole way it's framed is quite cool. Basically, it's a siege quest. What it means is, you can have up to 16 people in the gathering hub, and so all 16 people could be doing the siege quest. Now, yes, you can only have 4 people in an instance, but what ends up happening is you can have 4 groups of 4 all doing the siege quest at the same time and all contributing to the research level. There's 2 new kind of bars to go for or go through with the siege quest. One is pursuit level and the other one is reward level. So what ends up happening is that even so you're attacking this Elder Dragon in your instance, and you're not damaging in other people's instances, all your actions, all the points you're accruing are going towards that common total. So it's pretty cool. It's basically Monster Hunter World's version, or close enough to a raid. So it's a pretty neat idea. If you're a solo player, don't worry. Look, it's not the end of the world. I've been doing this this afternoon, actually, playing quite a bit of it solo, and I'm getting there. Yes, it's slower. You're not making as much progress as you would if you had multiple groups doing it, but it's been enough where I've already made 1 armor piece. My Palico is in full gear, as well as the weapon for the Palico. So, it's a slow slog, but you can do it. Don't think, oh man, there's no way I can do this because you have to have 16 people. No, you don't. the more the merrier, absolutely. But if you're a solo player, don't worry. And look, if you don't want to do it solo, just start an online session. Search specifically for the Siege Quest and just join, into a session or a gathering hub of a group of folk that are all doing that quest. Don't be scared. Just go for it. Do it. One of the big changes that I find interesting with this update, I don't know if you'd read about this, guys, was how they're changing how flash pods work with tempered monsters.
Yeah, they're putting a level of diminishing returns on it.
Yes, to the point
I think that's something
eventually
too strong.
where they're immune.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bit of a shame because, let's be honest, it is a nice little strategy, especially for any of the ones that are flying.
Yeah,
knock them.
toasty.
Yeah, they're good for toasty. Tempered basil goose, knocking them out the air.
God, no.
So that's quite interesting.
Even a tempered Paolumin might become a lot more difficult.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah, because that's quite an easy fight, but
Now you'll kill it before it gets immune to it.
yeah, probably. But
Reach that.
in an effort to balance things out, yes, this has made some of the encounters, they're going to be more difficult. But so what they've done is they've reworked the special rewards. Threat level 1 rewards now offer warped face stones. Level 2 offer shining stream stones. And threat level 3 gives shining stream stones all more frequently. Because, that's been kind of a big complaint for a lot of people that are trying to get, end game content when it comes to augmenting weapons and armor, is these bloody stream stones. And it feels like, it's quite... to kill a tempered elder dragon to only get one shining streamstone,
if that.
Yeah,
Sometimes
if that, exactly.
I've had them less than 50% of the time.
Yeah, so it'll be nice. So there's, in addition to that, there's some other things that they've done. They've you now have an option where you can sell all trade-in items at once, and so I saw that. It was pretty cool. You basically go, to any vendor like you usually do. And there's actually, I can't remember what button it was, but down at the bottom it did say sell all trade-in items. So that saves you from having to go through and manually do them. Just be careful though, because with this new Siege event, I'm sure that some of the materials are actually trade-in items. I could be mistaken there, but for some reason I think that some of the trade-in items are used for crafting. I can't remember. You can now also preview armor at the smithy, even if you have layered armor equipped. And one of the biggest things that I'm really happy about is they have now changed squad management. So players who haven't logged in for 30 days aren't automatically kicked from the squad. Because that's certainly what happened with our squad. It's now just me and Gim in it, because all the other guys, they haven't logged in 30 days, so they've been automatically kicked. Which is a bit of a shame. Some tweaks to the scout flies, so now the camera's not forced to follow an active trail when you fast travel or returning to camp after fainting. That's nice, because that was one of the most irritating things in the world. Whenever you fainted and then you came back and you're trying to, put your buffs back on, your consumables, and all of a sudden your camera's hijacked by the scout flies. But yeah, pretty cool. Bunch of bug fixes as well. Changes to guild card lighting. Little things like trying to lock on a Toasty's face. Whenever there was a bug where the lock-on cursor would target the space in front of Toaster's face instead of the actual face itself. So they've changed that allegedly. And a bunch of other things that they've done to research levels and whatnot. I'm just, what gets me is I'm really happy that this is yet again another free update to Monster Hunter World. I've been really impressed at how much free content we've got. But at the same time, I'm worrying, is there going to be paid DLCs? What do you guys think? Has the game been that successful that you think we're on a ride of just nothing but free content updates? Or is there actually going to be some paid...
I think they'll eventually do some paid DLCs, like larger ones.
Yeah.
Get like multiple monsters and stuff.
Because, the Monster Hunter series isn't known really for giving away free shit, are they? I mean, usually
No.
you have.
No, it uses the usual Capcom method of like it does with Street Fighter, is releases the game, then adds some other stuff to it and releases it as like a special version.
Turbo
Yeah,
Arcade Edition.
And the way it usually used to work, you used to get the, like, for example, Monster Hunter 4 comes out in Japan, and then Monster Hunter Ultimate in Japan, and then the rest of the world. And does it that way. But they had all the extra stuff.
Could looking at it from the point of, though, this is the first time it's been out on consoles, isn't it?
No, it's the first time in a while. It used to be on PlayStation 2, I believe.
Okay, but then in that terms, then looking from what's now available to consoles compared to what wasn't on PS2, it's about following this whole entire.
This is the first one that has specifically been made to target the Western audience, right? Because I mean, really, if we think about it, in the West, and, I say the West, I mean like Europe and the US. Monster Hunters were loved by a lot of people, but they were still fairly underground. They weren't like a huge, crazy success like your Call of Duties and your Sonics, crap like that. So Monster Hunter, in the grand scheme of things, wasn't, super successful outside of Asia. And that's where Monster Hunter World was created specifically. Yes, of course, folk over in Asia are going to love it as well, but they really wanted to penetrate the Western audience. And it goes without saying they've done that with Monster Hunter World. So I think it's weird because they are in a kind of new territory for themselves where, holy crap, we've actually sold enough copies of this to make back our investment, So I think that's why we're getting quite a bit of free stuff, because they can afford to do that. They don't want to piss us off at the moment. I feel almost as if it's like we're being given little tidbits, like, oh, here's a bit of free content, to whet our appetite. So then by the time that it comes, they go, oh, look, hey, now we've got this update. It costs, $20 or whatever. That will be so hooked by then. We'll be like, okay, yep, take my money. Shut up and take my money. I just don't know. I just feel as if it's kind of new territory for them. Because let's be honest, if they did like they did with previous Monster Hunters, and instead of releasing DLC or an update for this, instead did like, Monster Hunter World X and full retail price, I think fans would just be up in arms about it.
I generally feel like they would be stupid to not follow the current gaming model as such of DLCs, but I think this is where they have done themselves well so far. I think half the reason they're giving out free stuff is because of all this. But I think the other reason why partly could be down to the fact of, from a business model perspective, if they keep players interested, it means when this paid DLC does come out, they've been getting all this free stuff, they're much more likely to put the money down on it. I mean, I expect they probably would anyway. But I mean, from a player's perspective, you brought Monster Hunter World for what we'll say average game price now, what, £50, £60?
Yeah.
You spent £60 on. You've got all this content out of it. You've got all this free content out of it. They drop a £30 DLC, might be even less, 20, and 20's going to go, yeah, that's worth it. It's going to expand massively. I expect they'll probably still release free events and stuff with it. And, it gives them the time to, where games like Destiny did fail in the past, I want to say not so much recently, but it's still been the case of there's these massive content droughts, which Monster Hunter World seems to be tackling very well. From my personal, I mean, I haven't played Monster Hunter in a while. It's not because of content droughts. It's not because I don't like the game. It's just I haven't had the time to sink in. Yeah, exactly. It's the first game in a long time I haven't had the time to sink in, which is quite nice about it. It means when I do go back at some point this week or next week, probably will. There'll be a lot for me to do, but I think this is the good part. I think this is good. What they're doing with it is they are filling in these content droughts with. And this could just be them doing this out of pure luck, and this could just have somehow works for them. And they might not even have this plan to begin with as the reason for this, but that's what it feels like. And I think it's a good model. And I think people are much more likely to spend money. I mean, you've obviously been enjoying a lot, Jungle, with all this free stuff. I expect you probably would put the money down for a paid DLC.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've been buying all the little extra stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you can buy the emotes, the freaking the the stickers, the outfits for the handler. And the thing is, like, those microtransactions, I mean, you're talking like £2, right, for the handler's outfit. You know, like, why the hell not? You know, I don't mind paying that for just something that's a little bit fun.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, even considering my, I think I'm now at like 400 hours, something over 400 hours of game time. There's still so much shit for me to do. You know, never mind this content expansion, you know, the stuff they've been adding. Just actually, when it comes to grinding other weapons, materials, augmenting these things. There's some gems that I still haven't seen. You know, it just, the game is huge. And I think you're right that after spending the money for the actual full price of the game, you know, I have definitely got my money's worth, and I'm still not done with it. And so I think for someone like me, the concept of if they came out with an expansion for, say, around 30, maybe even 40 quid, I would have pretty high expectations. I'd be like, oh man, wow, you know, this is going to have some awesome crap in it. And you're right, I would. At this point in time, if they announced it, you know, yeah, I probably would pre-order it, because I don't think that they could disappoint me yet.
Yeah.
You know, I know the game's not perfect for some folk. I know it can be frustrating and little things. I mean, at the minute I'm fighting this new Elder Dragon, and yeah, she's pissing me off. Cheating bitch that she is. But that being said, I still love the game. There's a reason that in my review I gave it a 10 out of 10, because honestly, for me personally, the game just, it scratches every itch for me. It's fun, it's, you know, it's easy to pick up, but it can be difficult to master, especially with weapons like the Charge Blade.
Especially with that.
It's just such a great game, and I really look forward to what they're going to be doing with it.
Well, that's my point as well. I mean, like, if there was I mean, we did it with Destiny anyway. I expect the answer to be yes. But if there was a content drought for, let's say, 2 months, would you be more inclined to buy an expansion? I mean, you probably would, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I mean, I expect you'd be much more inclined to do it after all this content, because, again, how long ago did Monster Hunter World come out? End of January.
Yeah, that was January.
Does it feel like it's been out for that long? Because for me, it doesn't. Like, I say that the year's gone quick anyway. But if you have a look at it, it does not feel like it's been out for that long. But it's nearly been out for 3 months now. Exactly, it's 3 months down the line, nearly 3 months down the line, and there is still content to do. I mean, that's crazy from that sort of game's perspective. And I think a lot of big MMO-esque games could learn from this. So things like Destiny, for example, even things like Division, I think they could all learn from how Monster Hunter is doing it, because clearly they're doing something right. 3 months down the line, there is still content to do.
Yeah, I mean, the other game that's got that sort of longevity for me is Warframe, but that's because it's got the constant updates.
Yeah. And this is the exact point, isn't it? I mean, from a hardcore player, from a hardcore player, I mean,
so you get into the market.
Monster Hunter might not seem that big, but from a casual player, it is.
Oh God, yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it is. It's there's so much, stuff to do. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's why the model of Monster Hunter World's pretty fantastic. Because, like, when you think about it, all they have to do is add one monster. With that one monster comes armor sets for the palico, possibly new charms, new weapons, and so you're talking about basically, if they only introduced one new weapon, that would be 14 weapons, because there's 14 weapon classes. But it's never just the one. There's always something to make, and then the upgraded version of it. And then when you think about, then also because they've introduced a new monster, that means new investigations that might have just that monster. But it's crazy. It's so simple. All they have to do is, oh, look, here's a monster, and it just drastically changes the entire game.
Even then, there's always chucking a few extra bits as well.
Exactly, right? And so,
powered greatsword.
When you think about what they're giving us for free, things like the Spring Blossom event that has been pretty cool. Something neat and fun. The Devil Joe, obviously, that was cool. And now this Siege event, which is a game changer because it actually is a completely different mode. they're just I
Think about the development time and effort that goes in.
Yeah.
It's free.
absolutely. You know,
I think this is another. Sorry.
Capcom's doing good with this.
it just makes me wonder if this is the level of quality from their free stuff. When we do get a paid DLC, holy shit! You know what is going to be in it? You know, it just
I think.
I'm thinking they're doing the different generation monsters.
Yeah. This is the other thing as well. Is you look at the fact they've released the Seeds modes. They're clearly happy to take risks. I mean, that's completely. Let's look at it realistically. That, from what I'm aware of, would never have been done in a Monster Hunter game before, because obviously the multiplayer aspect of it now, and the fact that they've actually taken this risk and gone, yeah, let's throw this game mode out, is, I think, pretty bold and good, and it's good as well. The fact they can do that. I think that they also, with coming back to what you said about obviously, holy cow, what could the new DLC be like? Don't you almost feel like they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot a bit here, because they are going to have to live up to very big expectations with paid DLC if it comes out. And I mean, ridiculously
I think
huge.
In order for Monster Hunter World fans to pay, we're going to have to get new environments. Like, so a new environment is going to mean, you know, new critters, new things to collect, multiple monsters. If we're getting a whole new environment, then we're talking at least 3, maybe 4 new monsters per environment. You know, I think for a paid DLC, the expectancy of, you know, Monster Hunter World players is going to be quite high. They're going to think, well, wait a minute, if we've got all this stuff for free, then okay, $30 is going to equate to 2 environments, half a dozen monsters, and however many hours of story. You know what I mean? Like, and an Elder Dragon or something. I think
the monsters don't necessarily have to be new either. I mean, Devil Joe is not a new monster. Devil Joe was Monster Hunter 3, I think.
Yeah, but that's I don't mean that. I don't mean I mean a monster that's not already in the game. Because
true.
That's the whole beauty of Monster Hunter World. They don't have to come out with new monsters. And to be fair, they haven't been to that much.
Well, some are bad.
Exactly. They've got a whole backwards library of assets. Well, not the actual coding assets, but, you know, as far as instead of having to come up with something, they have to go, oh, hey, how about that one? Yeah, okay, we'll bring him in. Oh, what about this one? You know, it's sky's the limit for Monster Hunter. They could definitely.
I'd like to see some flagship monsters from other games.
Yes, that'd be nice.
I think
I
think I'm about to come on to like, I'd like to see more sort of Magdor style fights where you get to do cool seed stuff with little things like that.
Yes, and you know, you get a bit of that with the Siege, actually, because the Siege is kind of an in between where it's not as big as Zora, but it's bigger than the Elder Dragons, the other ones. You know, probably the same kind of footprint as Xeno, I suppose. But it's really cool because of the multi-staged effort. But yes, anyway, it's pretty cool. New updates out, and I think as we've basically established here, they're doing pretty damn well with the game, with all these free content updates. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they actually start charging for it. Well, I think that is basically us for this week. We covered all the stuff that we wanted to cover, and actually talked about a bunch of other stuff as well that wasn't on the agenda. As you do. Hey, we're good at this. We're good at digressing. As always, thank you so much to Gim and Sergeant J for being on Jungle Drums again. It's so much better when we've got the gang here.
Always a pleasure.
What else is happening this week at scholarlygamers.com? Well, there's all sorts of stuff. Obviously, this week we had the Yakuza 6 review that had came out, and that game looks absolutely fantastic. Then, of course, the latest God of War has been reviewed as well, and that is it got a 10 out of 10. And did it? No, Yakuza 6 got the 10 out of 10. Yeah, God of War didn't, or did it? Shit, I know. I mean, I'm losing freaking track of these things myself. I just know that both of those games kicked serious ass and they got super high scores. You know, and it'd be nice to play them. It'd be really nice, but I would need to get a PlayStation, wouldn't I? Yeah, CJ, go get God of War. Go change your life, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I got it. I got that for exclusives, and I really need to. I've still got to finish off Horizon on it, which is a fantastic game. I just very
Played
quickly.
Bloodborne yet, Joe?
No, I haven't. Games keep coming along that ruining it. Like Monster Hunter earlier, for example. Destiny came out as well, ruined it for me. Like I was doing pretty well on Horizon. You know, if I can get this finished off, and then Monster Hunter, bam, just dropped in my lap, and I'm like, great, fantastic. It's gone to the sides.
We've also got, of course, video content this week from Unbearable Gamer. The latest episode of Armchair Gaming dropped this week. Of course, our good friend, the Unbearable Gamer, takes you through exploring philosophy using gaming as the medium. So make sure to check that out as well. Anyway, folks, that is us for this week. We will catch you next week on Jungle Drums, and hopefully we'll have something to talk about. It always makes, always helps when you have something to talk about, right? Anyway, folks, take it easy and have a good one.
You too. Bye.